What's good, family? It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions in Boston community. Shout out to Louisiana All-American Sports Network. And shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. In this particular video, I'm going to talk about Southern University Recruit Spotlight. Southern University has a commit from class of 2025, 6 foot tall, 190 pound defensive back Cayden C.J. Jones from Baton Rouge has committed and announced his commitment to Southern University. Cayden was a part of the 2023 5A state championship team at Catholic High. And, you know, that's one thing a lot of members of Jaguar Nation complained about over the years, especially when Dawson Odoms was that head coach, that Southern University wasn't recruiting enough local players. And, you know, Coach Graves has seemed to address that issue. And if he's able to play right away, then, you know, he could fill that role left by Rodney Johnson. More than likely, he probably won't be ready to step right in day one. But, you know, from a talent standpoint, from what I saw on film, I think he's a solid defensive back. I think he could be a good addition to Southern University's secondary. And truthfully speaking, you know, when you got players like Herman Bristol III, you know, who played as well as he did, you know, being as young as he is this season, maybe it's not a stretch or outside the realm of possibility that he might be able to contribute right away, you know. And when you think about Southern University roster in terms of players coming back, you know, offensively, you know, you have, you know, a player like Darren Morris at wide receiver. You know, you have Cam Jackson. You know, he's been suspended. I don't know if they're going to bring him back or not. You have Cam Jefferson. You know, you have, you know, multiple players on Southern's offense. But more importantly, you have Jalen Woods at quarterback. He was the best of the three quarterbacks that played this season. So you're bringing him back defensively. You know, you're bringing back Kelby Givens. Bringing back Vincent Page, you bringing back Herman Bristol III. So the cupboards are not bare at Southern University. You know, they have a good foundation to work with. And it's going to be imperative that Coach Graves builds on top of the foundation that he has. He's in a real good position, but he has to play his cards right. If he does so, you know, you can add the right pieces to your defense so that your defense is, you know, rock solid again next year for the third year in a row. And then offensively is where you really need to go to the next level. And in fact, really, I'm going to say go beyond the next level. You need to go to a whole different stratosphere because truthfully speaking, I'm not going to lie, Mark Frederick, from an offensive coordinator standpoint, he didn't like the world on fire. But if you could get the kind of offensive line that you've had years past, you get the right skill players in terms of from a running back standpoint, you know, and not only that, but you add the right requisite pieces in terms of wide receivers. And not only that, but, you know, I've said this multiple times, but, you know, evidently they offered a quarterback from UAB, you know, a scholarship. I don't know if he's going to come in and compete with Jalen Woods and Angelo Izzard Jr. That's just from what I hear. I don't, you know how accurate that is. But at the end of the day, Southern University has a golden opportunity. Coach Terrence Graves, he really needs to, if he gets the right players on his team, I'm not going to lie, I know a lot of people think this might be a stretch, but I honestly believe if he bring the right players in to fill the holes defensively, and not only that, fill those holes offensively, you know, especially the skill players. And not only that, Southern has a young wide receiver core. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, I think you definitely need a few game breakers in terms of wide receiver core. But I think some of the wide receivers that you already have on your roster, I think they're going to get better. I think Darren Morris is going to get better. I think he's going to progress. You know, I think he probably was the number 2 this year, but, you know, he might get even better next year. But even with that being said, I mean, I think this is a golden opportunity for Coach Terrence Graves and for the staff. So I think it's imperative that they keep recruiting, and they recruit well, and they bring in the right players. Like I say, especially on the offensive side, because I'm not going to lie, this past season and the season before, especially when you had Eric Dooley as the offensive coordinator, like the offense has kind of been pedestrian at best, anemic at times, hard to watch. And you don't have to put so much weight and so much emphasis on your defense to kind of have to live on the field, get stop after stop. And you won't be, they were a physical team, especially down the stretch. But clearly Jackson State was more physical than they were. And you don't want to be in a situation where, in big games like the game against Jackson State where your defense have to live on the field. And I think the first half, they did a good job. Mark Frederick did a good job in the first half, mixing it up, throwing more, deviating from his tendencies. But in the second half, once Jackson State tied the game up at the end of the first half, and they went down, they scored at the beginning of the second half. And then it got to a point where, once Tyler Kirkwood fumbled, then it got to a point where it started to be a trend where your defense, you reverted back to what you've been in the past, and your defense just was living on the field. And you don't want to put yourself in the same position next year. You want to be explosive offensively. You want to be dominant offensively. You won't have the right quarterback pulling the trigger. Hopefully that's Jalen Woods. Hopefully he can progress and move in the right direction. If not, you have a senior quarterback that came from a Power 5, and maybe they could split time, or maybe him and Angelo Izzard Jr. could split time, or have a special package for Angelo Izzard Jr. However they're going to do it offensively. But you want the right skill players in terms of wide receivers and running backs. And I'm not going to lie, one thing I like, they seem to be big up front moving forward in terms of the offensive line. So if they could get back to, the type of blueprint they had in the 90s where, you had big, physical, nasty, aggressive offensive line, you're able to pound the rock, and use the running game to set up the play-action pass game and play great defense. That was the formula and blueprint that they had in the 90s when they had the success under Coach Richardson. It seems like Terrence Graves is trying to replicate that same blueprint, but I'm not going to lie, offensively, they're going to need to have some real explosive skill players if they're going to replicate that same formula for success that they had in the past. But that's it for this video. Hopefully you found value in this video. If you have done so, please like the video, share the video, comment in the comment section, subscribe to the channel. Also, click the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime I post any new videos. Also, go check out my brother, Jado Love McGreen, on his channel. Every Sunday, we do the Southern Baller Show. We did an episode this past Sunday. Also, go check out my brother, Brent Fox, on his channel with his show. It's just me starring Brent Fox. And also, go check out my brother, 7A Sports TV. He has two channels. His primary channel, 7A Sports TV. His backup channel is the No 304 Show. Every Sunday, he does a show with himself and a brother, Blu-ray. So go check him out. Happy holidays to everyone. On this Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Peace and blessing to everyone. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal evening. I'll catch y'all on the rebound, and Merry Christmas.